Welcome to A Course in Business Miracles. This is Heather Dominic, creator of BusinessMiracles.com and founder and leader of the highly sensitive entrepreneur movement. Join me today for some genuine practical assistance and a business-altering and life-changing experience, a business miracle. This is A Course in Business Miracles, episode number 66. HSE feature with Monica Keena. Welcome to this Business Miracles HSE feature episode. I am just so thrilled to be featuring Monica as a member of the Business Miracles community and as a successful, highly sensitive entrepreneur. Monica, aside from being a valued member of the Business Miracles community, at the age of 18 fell in love with fitness and the benefits of having a strong, healthy program as a part of everyday life. However, it was not until the loss of her second child, who was born still at 9 months, that fitness became a form of healing and nurturing for her mind, body, and overall health. With so many women suffering from loss, depression, anxiety, stress, unhealthy dieting, poor self-body image, bad relationships, limited time, career issues, and the list goes on, Monica's Get It Done principles give women the tools to help reduce or eliminate those stressors and replace them with strength and energy. Monica brings over 20 years experience in this industry, from working in gyms as a personal trainer, online coaching, running 5Ks, a half marathon, mud runs, and even participated in a national bikini competition. She shares her story and uses her experience as a way to inspire other women. Her goal is to change the way women feel about themselves, to understand that fitness is about how you feel, not how you look. Once this changes, fitness takes on a whole new energy. It not only becomes a priority, but it becomes fun. You will definitely want to listen in as I talk with Monica about how she went from being overworked and discouraged in her business to learning that as a highly sensitive entrepreneur, she was just wired differently and needed, therefore, to work differently. Monica tells us about her dramatic shift from feeling deflated to now feeling that she is living her purpose, and that part of that purpose for her is for everything to be fun. It is such an honor to be a part of Monica's HSE journey, and I am so very pleased to be sharing this episode with you today. Hi, Monica. Welcome.
Hi, Heather. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Happy to be here, actually. I'm so happy to be here. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, you are so welcome. So I'd love for you to start off just by, giving a little bit more context in regards to, who you are as a highly sensitive entrepreneur and your connection to the Business Miracles mentoring programs and community. So how long have you been in the community and what mentoring program are you in?
I've been in the Business Miracles community since the end of 2017. I started with the 6-month mentoring program, and now I'm in the elite program. And I have, accountability with, somebody every week or so, and also with our group.
Yes. Yeah, that's one of the best qualities of the Business Miracles Elite Mentoring Program is that we have really designed that program so there's a lot of accountability in regards to, you're working with a small group that's a mastermind support, you're working with your Business Miracles Elite Accountability Coach, you have forum support, of course, our weekly calls and all of the trainings that you receive. So now that we know which program you're in and how long you've been connected to the Business Miracles community, I'd love for you to also share when you and I first connected. When is it that you and I first connected? And most importantly about that is, when did you discover that you were a highly sensitive entrepreneur?
So you didn't probably know I connected with you when I connected with you, but I was actually driving. I was driving in my car listening to a podcast, and I always listen to this podcast, but all of a sudden you came on and you talked about this highly sensitive entrepreneur, and I'm like, this is so interesting. You were the guest, and I was so curious about what that even meant. And as you were talking, I was kind of like, wait, this sounds just like me. And I didn't even know what being highly sensitive even meant. As a matter of fact, I thought highly sensitive was kind of like, I would cry easy, like you're being too sensitive, or, you can't handle things. So I never really equated me being highly sensitive until you started speaking about it. And at that time, I was so tired and exhausted and trying to do all the things, be a mom. I had a full-time job. I have my husband. I was trying to live out my purpose. And you spoke to that on that podcast. And I just found it so very interesting that being highly sensitive could actually be all part of it. And it kind of made sense about why nothing was working and how tired I was all the time and exhausted and deflated almost. And it turns out because I was trying to do business like, as we call it, like the others, like everybody else.
Right.
And,
yes.
And then you realize like it's not working because I'm not like everybody else. And listening to you speak on that was just so interesting. And I'm like, maybe I'll take this quiz she's speaking about. And I went to your website, and I don't even know if you know this. I took the quiz, and it turns out I was like uber highly sensitive. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, but it did. And that's
You're right. I did not know that.
No. And this is kind of how and then I just started going on your website and following you. And then I scheduled a call, and I realized like this is kind of where I needed to be, because the reason I wasn't moving forward was because I wasn't using the right tools and didn't really know what I was doing as a highly sensitive.
Right, exactly.
That makes sense.
It does. I was just going to say it makes so much sense. And especially, with what I know about you and, your field, it would make sense that it would be so easy to get caught up in, I have to do this in the way that, like you said, the others, I talk about them, the other 80%, right? Or the 80%ers, because there's only 20% of us in the world who are highly sensitive. But I think what really stood out to me when you were sharing this story is how exhausted you were, right? That way of being in business was nearly killing you. I think at one point you shared with me that you were just ready to throw in the towel. And, I know that I personally can relate to that, because that's so much of where I was as well when I first discovered that I was highly sensitive. So I so appreciate that about your story. However, you're right. I did not know that you are super uber highly sensitive. I didn't realize that's where you scored on the quiz. So
yeah.
So of course it's going to make such a difference. And, and as we've already said, now you are in the Business Miracles community since 2017 in the Elite Mentoring Program. And so what would you say is the biggest difference that this has made for you as an entrepreneur who now understands that she's highly sensitive? What have you noticed since being a part of the community and mentoring programs?
Well, before I was in the program and I was trying to do things like the others, I was, like I said, I was very tired. I was very exhausted. I would get really, I don't know if deflated is the right word, or discouraged when things were not working. And then that would make me I want to say hide, but that would make me pull back from being who I really am. It would also like take out some of my energy, which when you're working full time and have a family and you're trying to live out your purpose, you need that energy. So it was kind of taking out my energy, and I was trying all these things, and it just wasn't working, and I was tired, and I think throwing spaghetti at the wall like is kind of how I felt. I kept going and kept pushing and kept, trying. But then at one point I was just about to break. I was like, and I even said to my husband, who's so supportive, that I don't think I can do this anymore. And I was really at that point until I listened to you and realized that there was another way of doing business, and that I was wired differently. That it's not that, I'm bad or whatever. It's just different. I'm wired differently. I'm going to take in things differently. And I needed to work with that. And I've learned that through all your teachings and the community. And my mindset is it's different, where now instead of things that used to take me out, I kind of embrace them a little bit more. I ask myself the questions that you tell us, like why? And then I try to approach my business from like a real heartfelt way, which is not like most people teach you to do. And that works the best for me because that's how I operate. So now I kind of, when you're looking at everybody else, and I think I might have even said, like, you look to the side, what everybody else is doing, and instead of looking up. And now I'm able to kind of look up as opposed to what's everybody else doing. And now I'm looking up and running business from my heart and from where I feel like it should be. And that helps me with my purpose and getting things out there, as opposed to being taken out and exhausted. And it's fun. It makes it more fun. That's what my business all the time. That's fun. It has to be fun. You can't be miserable. You can't be suffering. That's not going to work. And, that's, I'd say the mindset is the biggest thing that's helped me with Business Miracles, and especially in the elite program.
Well, I'm so appreciative that you shared that, because I know you're not the only ones, first and foremost. And I'm sure others who are listening can really relate to that feeling of just trying everything. And like you said, throwing spaghetti at the wall and then just really feeling like this is it and I'm just needing to give up. And so, wow, what a dramatic and effective shift to really be able to go from that place of feeling deflated, like you said, to feeling, that you can really have a sense of your purpose, and that as part of that purpose for everything to be fun. I mean, what a concept, right? That being in business as a person who's highly sensitive can actually be fun. And again, I really, really appreciate that. And especially because, as so much of the work that we do at Business Miracles is deep work. But I also like to say that deep work doesn't need to be dark. So I think you speaking to the fun piece of that really, really highlights it, which I really, really appreciate.
I was just about to say that, as you said, deep work doesn't need to be dark. And that's something as a child, looking back, like, I think I was definitely, my mom would say, oh, you're very dark. But the deep work doesn't have to be dark. And and then like being able to come out of that, like, it's the good work. It's the work that makes you want to move forward and not be exhausted because you're coming from a good place. You're coming from your heart. I just wanted to say that, like, you're coming from self-love, not from the mold or, so it is a different way to approach it, and it is fun, but it is work. And, the work isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just I love that. I love that, Monica. Yes, the good work. I so appreciate that, because again, like, I definitely use phrases like the real work. That's what we're doing here at Business Miracles. That real work is deep work. And I love this addition that you just introduced, which is the good work, because exactly like you said, you know, it's coming from your heart. But that's a journey for us as highly sensitives, is being willing and able to not only listen to our hearts, but trust what we're receiving. And I think it's because a lot of what you have already shared is because what we're going to receive from our hearts as highly sensitive is most likely going to sound, look, and feel very different than the other 80%, right?
Yeah.
So, but again, I so appreciate that. The good work. The good work. Credit to Monica Keena.
I'll take it.
I'd love to just go just a little bit further around this mindset piece that you've spoken to, because, you know, the fact that there has been such a shift in the mindset, and I know that you were sharing with me at one point that that is such a big part of the benefit that you've received of being a part of the community and the mentoring programs. And I know that you mentioned that it might not seem tangible, but you spoke to me at one point about like feeling like you're finally getting free of the chains that, you know, have held you down. And I was just curious is if that freedom that you are continuing to experience and that sense of no longer being held down, like, what are you noticing in terms of how that's affecting your life? How is it affecting the way that you show up in your business? How is it, say, affecting your marriage? How is it affecting time with your family? I know you're always posting these like beautiful photos on social media of your amazing children. And so I'd love to just hear, you know, what would you say is the before and after? What's the difference there that the mindset has made for you?
Well, we only have a little bit, so I'll just share a little bit. But because it's been huge,
Yes.
It really has. And I think the first thing that came to my mind was that, you know, we worked on it in our retreat too, but comparison. Like, I don't have to compare my journey to anybody else's. And when you start to look around, you know, whatever it is, like, and I didn't realize I was getting caught up in it, but you look at what everybody else is doing and you're like, oh, you know, damn, I should be doing that. Or why can't I do it like her? Or how does she post selfies like that and look so comfortable and I'm not? And it sounds so silly, but when you're in business and part of business is all the things, you tend to like, you know, you hold yourself back. And after realizing like why you feel that way, which we go into a lot, and we did that retreat that we had, you realize like, oh, it's more about me than it is about anybody else. And that's the biggest thing, like the comparison. Like, I don't compare myself as much. And I say as much because I think you're always a work in progress, but I do not compare myself as much to what's around me. Instead, which I wasn't doing because I was going outward, I went inward. And I'm like asking myself the question, why does this bother me? Is it because I want to be doing that, or I think I should be doing that? You know, that's part of like the business part, like, and also like, it's my own time. It's my own journey. It's not, mine is not theirs. Theirs is not mine. And with my husband, I think what was happening, and I'm just going to speak candidly, is that I would come home, you know, from a long day at work, and then I'd hop right on my business, you know, have the kids, and I was doing, and then I'm ignoring everybody around me. But that's not what I wanted either. So have you talked about too, like, how do you want your life? How do you want your business? You know, and that's kind of like for me, taking a step backwards a little bit and realizing like, well, this is all important around me. I can still have my business and, you know, still have the relationships and be there for my family. as opposed to kind of like ignoring them. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So much of what we talk about when we, speak about the teaching of both and rather than either or, which is so hard for so many business owners, whether they're highly sensitive or not. But definitely for those of us who are highly sensitive, we're so attuned to what the people around us need and feel often torn between what the business needs to move forward and, what our loved ones need. And so I so appreciate you speaking to being able to let go of so much of that either or and be able to have that both and by letting go of the comparison, which yes, we have, we do delve deep into that as part of the HSE teachings. Now, I know that you just mentioned the Business Miracles training retreats. So I would love for you to just speak to that briefly if you're willing, because how many retreats have you been to now? Is it 4 or more?
I think I've been to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because I joined at the end of the last fall one. Yeah.
So what is your experience with attending the training retreats, if you don't mind speaking briefly to that?
No, they're amazing. I'm not going to lie. Like the first time when I joined the 6-month program and then I was going to a training retreat, I was kind of wondering like, oh, how is this going to be? Like I'm the new, I'm highly sensitive. So you're like, I'm new. I'm not going to know people.
Right.
But it's not like that at all. You're actually, you're surrounded by like the nicest people because we're all highly sensitive and no one wants you to feel left out. And everybody's super nice. But then you get into these teachings and it's kind of, you're just in awe. I can't explain it. It's like your whole life. I almost wish like you taught like when I was in elementary school, but it's kind of, you learn these, like how to approach not just your business, but even like your life as a highly sensitive. And I've always come out of the retreat learning so much more about myself. And I feel like even being a better person than when I came in.
I so appreciate that you shared that.
Definitely taking more personal responsibility for myself.
Oh my gosh, that's golden for those of us who are highly sensitive to be able to learn how to truly take personal responsibility versus taking things personally. It makes everything so much easier. And so what would you say, what is some advice maybe that you have for other highly sensitive entrepreneurs, who are listening in and maybe having the same experience that you had when you listened to that podcast, almost 3 years ago? And what would you say to them about being a highly sensitive entrepreneur and the journey and what's possible for them?
Well, I'm not going to lie. When I first realized I was highly sensitive, there was this weird feeling of like, oh, like what's wrong with me? Like why do I have this? And almost like, can I get rid of it? And I have to. and no, anyone that's listening, the answer is no. You can't get rid of it. It's how you're wired.
True. Yes, it's true.
But I really did. I listened to it because you're ingrained to think like you should be like everybody else. And then you're kind of like, oh, I'm highly sensitive. Like, so even when I joined Business Miracles, they're like, oh, what's this? I'm like, oh, I have a business coach. Oh, what is it? Oh, it's for entrepreneurs. Like, I didn't even say the highly sensitive part at first because I was kind of like, like, is this bad? Are people going to judge me? Does this sound silly? But then after, especially, and I have to say it again, especially even after being at the retreat, the first thing to do, I would say, is just embrace this is who we are. This is who I am. This is who we are. And once you're able to kind of embrace that part, it definitely makes the journey, I want to say, it definitely makes it easier. This is who you are. So definitely embrace who you are. And as a highly sensitive, there's all different types of ways to be highly sensitive, and then learning, who you are a little bit better as a highly sensitive. I think and then from there, you're able to approach your business from that. And that makes you different. And being different makes you stand out. And standing out, differently also makes you real. And I think that's what people want these days. I think people are missing that connection. I think they're missing the realness. And you see all fake things and you think that, but that's what's great about being highly sensitive. Most of us we're like real. Like what you see is what you get. It's just hard for us to get ourselves out there.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So beautifully said, Monica. You have been paying attention to the teaching. Yes, absolutely. So true. That is why we are absolutely coded for success as highly sensitive entrepreneurs, for everything that you just said. Well, I'm just so continuously thrilled and in awe of the progress that I see you making and the way that you're flourishing in your business and in your life. And so I'd love for you to share, where can listeners find out more about you and the work that you are doing in the world as a highly sensitive entrepreneur?
Well, I am a fitness lifestyle coach, and I help women with time, that have issues with time, basically make fitness a priority in their life by helping them find their unique connection to fitness, because I think that's what's lacking. I think the connection and being able to figure that out is what doesn't make fitness stick for most people, and especially women, because we're busy and we're doing a gazillion things. But you can find me, I'm on Facebook, Monica Keena. I'm on Instagram, mkeena76. I have a Facebook page, Get It Done Fitness NJ, and I have a website, www.getitdonefitnessnj.com. And I have a closed group, if anyone is ever interested, called Another Annoying Facebook group, which is about fitness clothes, and it's just fun. It's just a fun group.
I always love that name. Yeah, so absolutely. First of all, if you're highly sensitive, you want to be learning from another highly sensitive when it comes to fitness. So that is for sure. So again, getitdonefitnessnj.com is where you can find Monica. And then you just want to connect with her so that you can get in the closed group that's called Another Annoying Facebook group. Who doesn't want to be a part of that? Everyone does. Everyone does. Absolutely. Well, Monica, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for being willing to be in V and V energy, visibility and vulnerability as a highly sensitive entrepreneur. You've come a long way from not wanting to let anyone know to being willing to share your story on a podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone knows now, Monica.
Yes. And you can't get away from it.
You can't get away from it. Absolutely. All right. Well, again, thank you so much. And everyone listening, until next time. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Course in Business Miracles. If you're ready to learn how to use your highly sensitive abilities to support you in being purposeful, profitable, and empowered rather than scattered, poor, and undervalued, take my free self-quiz to find out if you are indeed a highly sensitive entrepreneur. And if you are, along with your quiz results, you'll receive my free HSE Success Guide, which will teach you how to have your highly sensitive abilities working for you to create the results you desire in your business. Take the quiz and receive your free success guide now at www.hsequiz.com.